It seems fair enough that, according to vaccines, that the biggest state should get the biggest supply.
It does seem pretty logical, doesn't it? I'm not sure what the formula was before, but it's good to see the state premiers now comfortable that they understand what their allocations are going to be, so they can make the plans they need to get those jabs into their people's arms.
Yeah. The states, and a few of them here, are pointing to a lack of supply, so they can't all be wrong, right?
Oh, there's no doubt there's a lack of supply, and that's why Australia has been trying to focus its program on the AstraZeneca vaccine, because we can make that here in Australia and we're not reliant on factories overseas and being allowed to import the vaccine. But at the end of the day, Pfizer has been pretty good at delivering what they've promised, and we're looking forward to those Pfizer doses increasing through July, and then again a big increase in around September.
So, I mean, the issue here is that the federal government can only hand out what it's got. So what's the message here for those who are relying on Pfizer? They've just got to wait it out.
That's right. If you're waiting for the Pfizer vaccine, it may be a long wait, but we will get there in time, and remembering that the aim was to finish this program by the end of the year. Now, of course, with any vaccine program, it should be focusing on those most at risk. That means people over the age of 70 and, of course, all those high-risk groups we've been talking about for months. And most of those people should still be getting the AstraZeneca vaccine. And critically, most of them have only had their first dose. So it's absolutely the most important message for today is go and get your second dose, no matter which vaccine you had the first time. Go and get the same one again when your time is up, because without it, you're not protected against COVID-19.
Do you truly still believe that the eligible Australians will be vaccinated by the end of the year, Doctor?
I do. There's a couple of reasons for that. One is that I think many Australians are just keen for this to all be over. And the other is that we are expecting very large amounts of the Pfizer vaccine, and maybe even we'll get significant amounts of Moderna, and a little bit less certainly maybe some Novavax as well. But even if we just get the Pfizer, if it comes as promised, that will be enough for every Australian to have 2 doses of their vaccine by the end of the year, as long as we keep the program rolling now.
Any delay, though, from Pfizer, and that's gone, right?
That's right. That is the problem with relying on overseas production. If we don't get the vaccine arriving in Australia, the government can't give it out, and that will definitely slow the program down. The other thing that could change things would be a big outbreak of COVID. And I think if we saw a mass outbreak, then people will be pretty keen to get whichever vaccine they can, and we do have millions of doses of AstraZeneca waiting and ready to go.
I mean, should there be a position, do you believe, and some people have spoken about this, that people under the age of 60, if they sign a waiver, could just go and get an AstraZeneca vaccine? Is that something that you would ever consider?
Well, actually, that's the case right now. The AstraZeneca vaccine is licensed for anyone over the age of, I think it's 18, and there's no restriction on receiving it at any adult age. It's just not the recommended vaccine because of this extremely low risk of the TTS syndrome. So for people who don't wish to wait for Pfizer and feel that their circumstances justify taking that small risk, then that vaccine is actually available right now from GPs and from vaccination centres.
So are you seeing much of a take-up on that?
Anecdotally, absolutely. There are people who've balanced that risk and said, yep, I'm very happy to take a 1 in 40,000 risk of a clotting syndrome as a younger Australian. And of course, people who feel they're at higher risk and haven't been able to access the Pfizer vaccine may well make that call. I think someone who was due to travel overseas, you'd take whichever vaccine you can get to try and reduce your risk. But at the end of the day, our best advice is follow what the scientists are saying, and those people that have looked at all the data are saying, look, we do prefer Pfizer for the under 60s, and our job is just to follow that advice and go and get the jab.
Dr Omar Khorshid, thanks for your time.
No worries, morning.